Hello everyone, welcome to another Pokemon the series, the beginning episode talks, and potentially the most important episode talk so far. Because we are here. Charizard Chills, the episode that is just, God, it's full of emotion. Happy emotions, but like full of beautiful emotions nonetheless. It is the episode in which Charizard finally listens to our boy Ash. And I will say this before we get into it, this episode should have come a lot sooner, okay? I didn't like the gag of Charizard not listening to Ash, but even then, the gag worked for a little bit, but it just went on for way too long, which is one of the biggest problems with Ash's Charizard. After this moment, Charizard's fantastic, I will say that, but like, it just took too long. The gag was overused so much, and I hated it. Anyway, let's get into it. So the gang is on the ocean and almost get hit by a boat who is driven by Tad, a guy who actually learned about Ash from Rudy and also compares Misty to a Tentacruel in the worst way. And then she's like, oh, that's such a compliment. You know, there are some evil people who think, they're just nasty people, who think that Tentacruel is actually ugly. And Ash's like, I think he's one of them, which I just thought was funny. But anyway, Tad is here in order to challenge Ash to a battle. So we get to the island, time to battle. So we start off, it's gonna be a 2v2. So it's Poliwrath versus Pikachu. And while Pikachu tries its best, Poliwrath basically waited for Pikachu to tire itself out so that it could use Hypnosis Water Gun combo like a contest and just knock it out. But yeah, Pikachu gets beaten, even though technically the Hypnosis would have been enough to beat Pikachu, because as we know in the first 2 seasons at least, sleep equals you are done. You can't wake up from sleeping, okay? It's like a permastat, which actually, there's a glitch in the Generation 1 games, which has to do, I think, with freezing. But like, if you freeze a Pokemon and then do something, I forgot what, you can actually perma-freeze the opponent forever, which could help against legendary Pokemon catches. The one problem is, you can't really know when it's gonna happen. So you can't time that stuff. But anyway, speaking of freezing, Ash sends in Charizard next, who disobeys Ash, obviously. And like I said, that joke has run dry. I hate it from this point forward. Well, actually, I already hated it from, you know, first couple of times onwards. That from like onwards after the first couple of times, I hated it. But anyway, obviously, Tad insults Ash, understandably so. Ash is just being an idiot. Why can't I fight against the Orange League with a Charizard that won't obey me? It's like, are you out of your mind? Who says that? But anyway, Charizard tries to fight against Poliwrath after Poliwrath attacks it, but it's no use. And to finish it off, Poliwrath freezes Charizard. So then Ash breaks Charizard's head free, and Tad is like, hey, if you learn to control that big boy, I want a rematch. So now, for the rest of this episode, it's all about unthawing Charizard, which actually happens pretty fast, but like heating him up afterwards as well. And I'm kind of like, well, we got a fire here. Can't we just put some fire around him in order to heat him up, you know? Kind of heat him up with like the fire of the campfire. Can we just do that? Grab a couple of pieces of wood in order to kind of like move it over his body to heat him up. He's a fire type, so he wouldn't really be damaged by it necessarily, you know? Like, okay, look, I'm taking away the emotion, I understand, but I just had to mention it. Anyway, so now we start rubbing Charizard. Just rubbing, and the dirty jokes can be made, but I will not make them in respect for the episode. But anyway, yes, we keep rubbing our hands. However, the thing is, our hands are being hurt because we're basically going with skin-on-skin contact. Once again, jokes can be made. So Misty decides that a blanket might be better for the hands, so the gang keeps rubbing Charizard. Also, earlier, Charizard was a bit restless because of the fact that, don't touch me! But we're gonna touch you anyway. Once again, jokes can be made. But yeah, we keep on trying to get Charizard to warm up. So then the rest of the squad goes to sleep, but Ash will not quit until he falls asleep himself. And then the next day, Charizard is perfectly fine now. Flame is okay, and everyone's happy about that. But then Team Rockets attacks with a big drill, and they take Pikachu and try to escape. Ash goes after, but Charizard like, hop on me back, because now Charizard respects Ash, and they go after Team Rocket. And then Charizard rescues Pikachu by kicking the drill part of the big drill. And then to finish off Team Rocket, Charizard learns Dragon Rage, which in the dub is called Rage, but it's not. It's Dragon Rage. Charizard just learned Dragon Rage. Technically, Charizard already knew Rage because he used Rage way earlier, back in Season 1, in the episode where Primeape got caught. That's when Charmander used Rage, so that's not a new move. Charizard learned Dragon Rage. But Team Rocket's now gone. now we can have that rematch and Charizard beats Poliwrath. And then that's it. That's the episode done. But man, what an episode. Just like the emotional moments, the flashbacks that we get while we are trying to heat up Charizard, the dedication that Ash has to help Charizard, which means we should have just heard Charizard earlier and then it would have been perfectly fine. But now Ash has a unit on his team. And also, if we ever lose Pikachu, Ash has a Sky Pokemon in order to be able to search for Pikachu. But overall, I loved this episode from start to finish. Just the way that Charizard now finally respects Ash. I've seen the online videos about, oh, but Charizard didn't obey him because it was like, Ash didn't get the badges, so that's why. That kind of stuff, like the link to the badges obedience. And it's like, no, it's just Ash was kind of a stupid idiot. And that's what Charizard didn't respect. That's why Charizard decided to disobey, okay? Because Ash is just an idiot. But now this allowed Charizard to be like, he truly cares about me. Maybe I shouldn't be such a prick to him. And now he listens to Ash. That is how it happened. But overall, this episode was fantastic. Probably my favorite of the episodes that we've had so far. But that's also because of the fact that we have a big battle upcoming. And that one might overtake this one. But man, finally Charizard listens to Ash. Fantastic. So, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. And with that being said, thank you all so very much for watching. And I hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new with us already. Turn on notifications. Don't forget, check out the Let's Play channel, link in the description and at the end of the video. And I'll see you guys next time for the last episode before we get to the big movie. Because we got some Squirtle, Turtle action. And in case you're wondering if this is filler, no, because these characters appear in Johto when we get rid of Squirtle. So it is a main episode. Bye!